Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review of another fabulous Naxos collection. And this, I'm excited about this, the complete songs of Charles Ives. Most people aren't aware of just what a great songwriter Ives was. Of course, he published a volume of his own songs. He self-published a bunch of them, but he wrote nearly 200. That's about as much as Brahms. In fact, he set some of the same poetry as Brahms in German, and just about as well as Brahms, too, which might come as a surprise. Both composers, for example, did a marvelous little song called Feldeinsamkeit, or, loneliness in a field. Loneliness in the pasture, or someplace like that. The loneliness you feel when you're lying alone in nature, gazing up at the sky. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And Ives wrote a very serious and deeply moving song on that text, just as did Brahms. But Ives did so much more than that. Ives being Ives. Ives's songs are extraordinary. And Naxos has recorded them all, or at least all the ones he completed, in a 6-disc set that I am opening up and going to take out here. And just tell you a little bit about them and why you should be listening to them. These all just say various artists because they're written for an extraordinary range of performers, and some of them have piano accompaniment, some of them have organ, some of them have extra instruments like string quartet or some percussion or stuff, or who knows. It's Ives. You never know what you're going to get. Some of them are virtually unsingable. Some of them are completely atonal. Some of them have tunes that are borrowed from the American folk legacy that Ives often drew from. Some use themes that were incorporated into other works, such as his symphonies. It's all there. Church hymns and patriotic songs, they're all in here. Everything. Absolutely everything, from the craziest polystylistic, atonal, polytonal, nutty, whatever, to very simple, folk-like, sincerely sweet, sentimental songs even. It's an amazing legacy. And like I said, there are a couple of hundred of them. They're usually fairly brief. They fit on 6 discs. And I just want to read to you the titles of the songs, just for each volume, that are just on the header. Just these. They don't list them all, obviously. There's like dozens of them, 22 of them, or 23, or some number like that on each volume, or more. And it's a lot of stuff. No, 30 some odd. Yeah, 30 some odd on each one of these, right? Yeah, basically. Wow. Yeah. An extraordinary legacy that's all but unknown. It really is, and it's just a tragedy because it's great stuff. And I'm going to play you a whole song when we get to it, sort of towards the beginning. These are all in alphabetical order in volumes 1 through 6, in straight alphabetical order. They're all very well sung by a huge list of singers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 14 or 15 singers and a whole slew of players. So I'm not going to get into the details of the performers, other than to say that the performances are first class. So disc 6, let's just look at some titles. It gives you a sense of what Ives was doing. Tarrant Moss, They Are There! ! Thoreau, To Edith, Walt Whitman, West London, and Yellow Leaves. You starting to get there? You've got transcendental poets, you've got personal things, you've got, who knows what else? Disc 5, or Volume 5. Premonitions, Requiem, Rosamunde, as in like Schubert's Rosamunde, Slugging a Vampire, Soliloquy, A Son of a Gambolier, and Sunrise. You've got nature, you've got craziness, Slugging a Vampire? Indeed. Now, I do want to point out, I didn't see that this whole box is still available as a box, but all of the individual volumes I checked are available. You can get them, one at a time, which may be the best way to do it anyway. I think, the texts and translations are on the Naxos website. They tell you where you can go and look to find them. Songs 4, Majority, Memories, Mists, My Native Land, A Night Song, Old Home Day, and The Only Son, son as in daughter, son, that thing. Disc number 3, The Housatonic at Stockbridge. That is a song version of the last movement of The Three Places in New England. One of the most beautiful things that Ives ever wrote, and it's extremely lovely in its song version. The orchestral version came first, and Ives later found some words and turned it into a song. Immortality. In Apriltide, the incantation, like a sick eagle. This was an image that recurred to Ives at various points and became one of his orchestral sets, sets for chamber ensemble. There's like a sick eagle. Lincoln, the Great Commoner, political song. And there are innumerable songs in here that, like I said, Ives later incorporated into either song transcriptions into orchestral works or the other way around, took the orchestral works and turned them into songs. Ives wrote a wonderful, wonderful essay in the prelude to his own publication of songs, where he said that, songs don't have to be singable. They have every right to exist independently in and of themselves, and whether you can sing them or not is not the song's problem. The song exists. That was his philosophy of composition, which is rather an extraordinary one. I think you'll agree. Disc 2, December, Evening, Eyes So Dark, Far in the Wood, La Fede, General William Booth Enters into Heaven. This exists in multiple versions for solo with chorus, and some sort of ensemble. It's been orchestrated. It's one of his biggest and grandest songs. It's about a revival preacher. And it's really extraordinary. And it's full of church hymns and all kinds of other stuff like that. And then Grantchester. So, and now here we are with Songs Volume 1. These are just, like I said, little highlights of what's in the disc. 1, 2, 3. That's a song. Aeschylus and Sophocles. Sound intriguing? Because of You, At the River, The Cage, The Camp Meeting, which of course is the title of his third symphony. And we see some of the music that later appeared there in here, in The Camp Meeting. And then Christmas Carol. There you go. Now, I would like to play a song for you. I'm going to play a song for you. It's called Charlie Rutledge. It's one of my all-time favorite Ives songs. I can sing the whole thing, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let the singer sing the whole thing. It's hilarious. It, to me, encapsulates everything that an Ives song does. It's about the death of a cattle rustler on a ranch, which has a history of cattle rustlers dying. Charlie is the third to pass away while, rounding up the cattle. He dies because his horse panics when a bull on the XIT ranch turns and confronts the horse, and it leaps up, and Charlie falls off, and then his horse falls on him and crushes him to death. The music contains everything from church hymns or hymn-like cadences to cowboy music to completely atonal, polytonal, hysterical climax at the moment of Charlie's death, where Ives instructs the pianist to just pound on the keyboard with his or her fists. It's an amazing, amazing song. The poetry is horrible. The words are completely terrible. Things like, for when he came to finish up the work on which he went, nothing came back from him. His time on earth was spent. Yes, it must rhyme at all costs. And the tastelessness of the poetry is part of the adorable wonderfulness of the song. It's just an incredible piece. You find Ives' whole insouciant aesthetic in this amazing, amazing piece of music, Charlie Rutledge. So here it is.
Another good cowpuncher has gone to meet his fate. I hope he'll find a resting place within the Golden Gate, the Golden Gate. Another place is vacant on the ranch branch of the expressive. 'Twill be hard to find another that's like as well as he. The first that died was Kid White, a man both tough and brave, while Charlie Rutledge makes the third to be sent to his grave. 'Cause by a cow was falling while running after stock. 'Twas on a spring roundup, a place where death men mock. He went forward one morning on a circle through the hills. He was gay and full of glee and free from earthly ills. But when it came to finish up the work on which he went, nothing came back from him. His time on earth was spent. 'Twas as he rode the roundup that XIT turned back to the herd. Poor Charlie shoved him in again. His cutting horse he spurred. Another turned at that moment. His horse the creature smiled and turned and fell with him. Beneath poor Charlie died. His relations in Texas his face never more will see. But I hope he'll meet his loved ones beyond in eternity, in eternity. I hope he'll meet his parents, we'll meet them face to face, and that they'll grasp him by the right hand at the shining throne, the shining throne, the shining throne of grace.
Wasn't that fun? I really hope that that gave you a taste of just how fabulously wide-ranging and enjoyable these Ives pieces are. I'm going to put this away. There we go. And, there are, Ives songs have become far more popular than they used to be in the past, 20 years or so. And there have been several serious collections of quite a few of them. I mean, even Fischer Dieskau made a disc of them for Deutsche Grammophon, which is quite fine. And so you can get Ives songs pretty easily. And Charlie Rutledge is one of the more popular ones, too. There's a fabulous performance by Barbara Hendricks that was on Globe or one of those labels. But anyway, this is Naxos. It's the complete Ives songs on 6 CDs, formerly in a box. Now you can get them all separately, but do get them. If you like songs, if you're interested in Lieder, if you're interested in art songs, if you're interested in Charles Ives, if you're interested in brilliant, genius composition, you will definitely want to have a couple discs of Charles Ives' songs. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.